They say everything good comes on a stick. There's chicken on a stick, corn dogs on a stick, and with art, we even have oil on a stick. Welcome to the Art Workshop. I'm Christopher Epling. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And as you kind of guessed from the opening, what we have today for you is oil on a stick, better known in the art world as oil pastels. This is a really cool medium to use, and I thought it'd be interesting to go over this because we really haven't focused very much with things outside of watercolor and colored pencils. Haven't even begun to touch paint yet, but this is kind of our segue or lead way into paint, if you will. Oil is a very difficult medium to use. It's something that a lot of artists challenge their whole lives with to try to figure out how to really get a hold and a grasp on how oil paint that is used and how to use it appropriately. But oil pastels offer a very unique and interesting opportunity for artists because you're able to use color in a way that you can mix and blend and do the things that you can do with paint with, but it comes in the form of a handy little stick. Oil pastels are available at just about any place that carries art supplies. You can go in and get complete sets of them. You can even get, sometimes you can even manage to pull one or two colors from different art shops in various locations. So let's say you just wanted a particular color range, you can go in and select a few of these individually. So whatever you're looking for to do in terms of what you're wanting to color, there's a lot of options out there. Now, oil pastels are not messy. You can't spill them, or you can't really cause a huge mess with them, but they are a little bit tedious to use because you do have to use your fingers sometimes when you smudge. Now, smudging is typically what we talked about in an earlier episode when you're using graphite with pencils. You can use your finger to blend and to create different types of hues, what we call hues, which is a range of the color from light to dark using your finger. But with oil pastels, you can use your finger to smudge and blend and do lots of interesting things. Today I thought if we're using oil pastels, one way we could really showcase them is drawing something from manga or manga, however you want to pronounce it. There's no right or wrong answer for that, but I call it manga. That's just my personal choice. Now, a lot of you might say, well, why not anime? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between manga and anime before we get started here today. Typically, manga is a Japanese word for comics. So anything printed in a book or a comic book on paper, anything on paper is called manga. Anime is actually the Japanese term for animation. So if you have cartoons that are animated on the screen, that's anime. If you have a printed version of that style of art in a book, that's manga. So that's the two different forms. It's the same thing. It's just one's animated and one's in a print form, okay? So since we're using paper today, we're not trying to animate using a computer, we're going to draw manga. So anything that you need to get started, or the supplies that you need to get started, you can grab from your house. Anything like a pencil, an eraser, and paper, that's basically what you need. Now, if you already have oil pastels at home, you can follow along with the coloring part of this today. If you don't, that's fine. You can come back to this later. Go to Pike TV or theholler.org and check it out online. And these videos will be archived online for you, so you can go back and watch it later, okay? Be sure to visit also theholler.org and post any artwork that you create. Go to the Art Holler that's on the website, and be sure to share whatever you create with us today, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, like I said, you need paper, which we have already. Paper, any type of paper will do. And we're going to go ahead and sketch out what we're going to be drawing today. Now, you remember the circle method. If you're interested in drawing manga or anime, you could go to your local library. and you can get books that actually show you how to draw this stuff. So here we have a book that we've resourced from the library, and as you can see, the circle method, that's what we've been doing for the longest time here on Pike TV and the Art Workshop. We've been talking about this method. The circle method basically means you draw a stick figure, but just a little bit more detail with that. So you have a circle or an oval shape for the head, you have your circles for shoulders. Anytime you have a joint on the body, such as the elbow, wrist, knees, ankles, okay, you're going to have circles. And then you also have the oval circles for the hands. You have the longer oval, or this particular book has straight lines, which is fine for the legs. And then the feet, you also have a shape there. So the circle method is very important, and we'll be resourcing that today too. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to be doing a character. I'm not really sure what this character is or what series it's from, but we're just doing from the shoulders up because I want to focus more on the hair, okay? All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a circle very lightly. You're not pressing down very hard at all. Now the thing about oil pastels are that when you go to start coloring this, you're going to find that the graphite, you can't draw on top of it with a pencil. It's going to carve it just like clay almost. It's going to carve out a section of whatever it is you're drawing. But we're going to sketch this out first. So we're going to go ahead now on the bottom of your circle. You're going to make this shape here. And what this is, it just comes out from the edge, sort of a straight line here starting out. And then this is going to come down. It's got a slight curve. And it's going to come all the way down here to a point. This is going to make the chin of the character right here. This is the head. All right. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to take it back up now. We're going to start going the opposite direction. We're actually going to go up with this, like this, all the way up the side of our circle. And the circle really helps guide us, like we've talked about before. The circle acts as our boundaries from which we draw on. So you see this slopes down like this. You can start to fill this out and press a little harder now. And it's going to come up in this direction like this, okay? Now you can still see this light circle that I've drawn in the background here. This makes up the head. This is the actual head of the character. So you can start to see how this forms now. This is the cheek, comes down to the chin, and back up on the other side. We'll go ahead and first, instead of trying to tackle the head, we'll draw the neck. So down from this, we're going to come down just with a line right here, extending down from the bottom of the chin a little bit. And then we're going to draw another line. Now watch what I do here. Come up on this one a little bit and come down, just like that, okay? This will come into play a little bit later when we start drawing out the dress for the character, okay? Now we're going to go back up to the top here where we stopped, and we're going to draw the ear. And the ear is just looks like the letter C, but backwards, okay? Just like that, okay? We're going to draw that on the side, so we have our ear drawn, all right? Now, here's where things get a little technical, so you want to pay close attention. Anytime when you work with anime or manga, the hair is usually a very predominant part of the drawing. So for this particular character, we're going to first draw a line going across the head, just like that, very lightly. Don't press down really hard because this is going to be erased in detail later, okay? Just like that, all right? And what we're going to start to do is we're going to start cutting that line up. So we're going to draw these lines coming up like this and back down, just like that. So we see that looks like a really sharp triangle, okay? It's going to come over just a little bit, straight line following your line that goes across. This is the bangs of the character. It's going to come up. Now this is going to be a little bit wider of a triangle. Come over a little bit more, come up again. This one might be a sharp one. See how I've come back down with that one? Down again, over, up. Now here what we're going to do is bring the hair down. We're going to bring the hair down on the side. Okay, we're going to also draw some triangles here to give a little bit of texture to the hair, okay, and come up again. So there we have this side of the bangs for the character. Now we're going to work on the other side, and we're going to come down. Now there's a center point that we like to draw for the face. The center point is where the nose will appear, the mouth, and this is the center of the head of the face, okay? So you know that two eyes are going to appear on each side of this line. You can barely see it when I'm pressing down here. That's because we don't want to keep this line in our final drawing. It's going to be erased, okay? So this line helps us to understand where the center point of the head is. So we're going to come up a little bit, about right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw this little shape like this, okay? That's the center point of the face or the head, and we're going to finish out a little bit more of the hair on this side of the face, and then we're going to work on the other side. We're going to draw a line coming down like this, straight back up, down, and we're going to give another little bit of a shape here coming out, up, down. Now here's where we're going to start taking the hair up and going back around the head. Now we know our center point right here where the face comes up, so about right here is where the center point of the hair will be. We're going to draw it up above the body, above the head more, because the hair sits on the head. It's not attached directly to it. And what we could do now is attach this all the way up to here. And how we do that is we're going to bring this up a little bit like this, and we're going to start coming out with it now. With manga and anime, the hair usually is, like I said, a predominant part of the drawing. It sticks out a lot from the head. On this particular character, it's not too far out, but you can see how it works. All right, from now what we're going to do is we're going to create the hair going down the back, and this kind of slopes up and then down here. So you just follow my line. We're going to go up like this, okay? And we're going to start to go down and let it come down the shoulders like this right here, okay? See how that works? All right, so the hair is actually resting on the shoulders and the back of the head. All right, the line comes down like this. Now we need to go ahead and come up to the ear, and we're going to finish the hair out, and we're going to draw a line coming down like this, okay? This is just a strand of hair that's on the shoulders, and it connects to the other part of the hair going down the back, just like that. There we go. Now we have the formation of the head. We're going to go ahead now and work on finishing out the neckline. Draw a straight line coming down like this, okay, and then another straight line coming down. All right. On this side, we're going to draw a line coming up this way, and another line going up this way like this. This starts to form the neckline for the clothes, okay. We'll have over here, just she's going to be holding a satchel on her back. So you're going to draw a straight line up, come over, this is forming one of the fingers, all right, then do another series of these little humps, 1, 2, 3 more, and coming down, okay. And this forms the hand, and then she's going to have her part of her, I guess I'm not really sure the technical word for this dress in Japanese, but I'm sure some of you will know. If you do know, write in and let me know. I'll probably think of it as soon as the show's over, but it's a traditional Japanese dress. This is she's carrying some sort of I guess it might be a weapon or a sword on her back, so we'll just have that strap there, and then her shoulder ends here coming down. So that's the formation of our character. Now let's go up and work on the eyes. The eyes are one of the most predominant thing for anime and Japanese drawings, okay? For the eyes, we're going to go up, and what I like to do is draw a line going across to let me know where the eyes position, right? So we have this is a cross, see the cross formation in the face here, okay? I want to know where the nose will be. The nose will be about right here on the character, and then the mouth's going to be down here, offset just a little bit. So I know now the position of each one of these elements for the face. The first thing we're going to do is work on the eye on this side. What we're going to do is we're going to start out drawing the eyebrow. The eyebrow slopes down, so it comes up like this and then down, okay, just like that, and then it comes up on this side, and it's a kimono. Thank you, Brad. Brad helped me out. One of the producers here has helped me out with remembering the name of this traditional dress, a kimono. Yeah, thank you. So this comes down. Now that's one eyebrow, okay? Now we're going to do the other one. It starts out over here, wraps up, comes down. All right, so we have the second eyebrow there, okay? Now we have everything we need really to finish the eyes out. Traditional anime has large pupils, very large pupils. So we're going to draw those pupils in here. There's one, comes down, and usually it just has a straight line then for the bottom of the eye. Now we need to add the other side. We have another pupil here, of course. It's going to come down like this on each side, and then a straight line. Now I know a lot of you have seen anime or Japanese cartoons, and you notice that they have a lot of white circles that reflect light in the pupils. Those are very important for this type of art. So go ahead and add that now. It's going to be an oval here on this side, very large oval there, another large oval on this side, just like that. okay? Then there's a line that actually comes up like this that creates another oval that is cut off a bit by the first one. Down, comes up, down, and then a small circle here. I know there's a lot going on in the pupils, but that's typically how it is with anime, with Japanese art. The nose is not very predominant at all on Japanese and anime art. It's just basically a small point, okay? Very small point, something like that right there. That's all it is, okay? And the mouth is usually smiling open, or sometimes depending on what the character's mood is, but it's not that predominant either. All it is usually is, in this case, is like the upside down letter D, really, something like that right there, okay? And then her tongue comes out like that, so there we go. Now we have a little bit of hair that's going to come down on this side, comes down like this, and comes down a little bit like that, and then up. So see, this is the other part of this. Now this is a little longer than this one, so I can actually correct that. A lot of parts when it comes with drawings is going back, fixing things, changing things. It's okay. You're not going to get it perfect the first time, so don't worry about having to erase. That's why we have our eraser handy, is we want to make sure that we can go back and change things if we need to. All right. So she has these sort of Elvis side chops going on here, if you will. There we go. So this is our anime character. Once we have this basic design down, we can go ahead and get rid of the lines that made up the circle, okay, that we first used to create the character with, okay, and down like this, get rid of those lines. And what we have left with is our final drawing. I'm using a 2B pencil. We talked about the different types of pencils you can use. The one that you have at home probably is a H or a 2H pencil for school. But we have our character now. So now our focus today is pastels. And like I said earlier, when you're drawing or coloring with pastels, you're not going to be able to draw with a pencil over top of those, typical pencil. But if you have one of these, and this is a really short one, apologize for that, but this is a graphite lead pencil. It's a woodless pencil, and it makes really, really strong, predominant lines. This is what I'm going to use to go back over the drawing once I color it, okay? A lot of artists, what they'll do too, once they finish, they'll go ahead and add where the light will be, okay, in our drawing. So we're going to show light by actually having the color change between this and this side, okay? So we want to show the light in this. And a lot of times too, if you go ahead and put these lines in, what will happen, you'll be able to see where you need to add the light in your drawing later on with color, okay? And it really depends. This is something that's a little difficult for some artists to do. If you have a grasp on how to use light with color, that's awesome. We have a actual, I think, video on how to show light with color, so you may want to check that out. It will help you. And this is really like building block tools. You can watch one episode of the art workshop and be able to create whatever it is just by what the content is for that episode. But if you were to watch all of them consecutively or together or in any type of order, it helps give you the entire toolbox you need to create a drawing. So go look and find and search for these drawings that are online. I mean the videos that are online, I'm sorry. Those will act as a toolbox for you in creating whatever artwork it is that you want to create in the future, okay? So we're going to begin to color this, and I don't want you to get too overwhelmed by what you're going to see here, because if you've never used oil pastels before, it's really about trial and error. So you try and you find out what works and what doesn't work, that kind of thing. It's different for everybody, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out using a color that's a little light. This is a flesh tone color for the drawing. I have little tiny pieces here that I'm going to be using. You'll see me use it, but this is a flesh tone color that you can use. So I'm going to start out adding a little bit color to the drawing here with the face, okay? I'm actually going to start out using a lighter color, and then, like I said, this stuff blends very well. So you can see how this comes in. This is just going to be showing a little bit of light coming down on the character here, usually around the cheeks, okay? All right, we're going to have a little bit on the ear here. You have some light on the hand, it's coming down, a little bit on the fingers, and a little bit on the chin, okay? Now we're going to be using a flesh tone pastel to go ahead and add a little bit more color. Now right now it looks as if I'm not really getting a lot of color onto the drawing, but I don't want to add too much just yet, because what happens is with oil pastels is that you blend. So you go back over in a minute, we'll use our finger actually, and we'll start to blend this in, and you can see how it really comes together, okay? Right now though, it kind of looks as if I'm using a crayon, which in a way this works similar to a crayon. So now you can see here what I've done. I've laid the first coat of color, and I'm going to go back now and blend this in using my finger. And once you blend, you can always go back and add more. That's the cool thing about oil pastels. You can put some more color on top of your color. So, and you'll see a little bit of, there's going to be a little bit of darkness coming through here. That's the graphite from the pencil. I pushed down hard so that you could see it at home. And so it's picking up on that a little bit and actually pulling in a little bit of that graphite into the drawing. That's okay though. This is a process that actually builds on top of itself. Now I'm going to use a little bit of white in here, okay, to help us blend the color out a little more. You can see it starting to come together a little bit better now. The white really works well, and you know what? A lot of different types of mediums you use, the white, when you go to use the white, you can't hardly even tell a difference really. It seems as though that like you're just coloring on top of it and you can't see it. But with oil pastels you can see the white. You can color white straight on top of another color, and it works really well, okay? So I'm blending all this in together here, trying to get a nice shade on the skin tone. You can see how this is working out. The hair now is going to be really important for the character. It's important for all of the Japanese art. I forgot the neck. That would help to put a little bit of color here on the neck too. All right, and then we'll go ahead and use the skin tone again. Blend that in a second. We have the ear and the hand. This is almost a salmon color for the skin tone. Use our finger, go ahead and smudge it, get it nice and smeared up good. You can see it's a little bit darker than the top. That's okay, because here in a second when we add the white, it's really going to come together. I really suggest you get a basic set of these. Don't go out and spend a lot of money. Oil pastels, just like with anything you use in art, you have different price ranges for it. Some are pretty expensive, others are not that expensive. I would get a cheap set, okay? Don't spend a lot of money on them if you've never used them before, and try it out first, see how it works, see if you like it or not, you know, and go from there. If in your high school or in your art class at school, chances are your teacher has oil pastels somewhere. If you've never used them before in class, that's okay. Ask him or her about it. Say, hey, you got any oil pastels around? And let your art teacher give you access to those and use them. Try them out and see what you think, okay? They do flake a lot, so you can see me constantly moving my hand around here. The reason for that is, you know, that it flakes up. It's just like any type of dry medium that you're going to use. Now what I'm doing here now, I'm adding a little bit more shadow in some areas of the face. Okay, still using this salmon color right now. I'm going to go back a little bit later on when we're going to fast sketch through some of this so you can see how the process works in a little bit. And I'm just going to continue on this method of blending, and you can watch me do it as we move along. And like I said, we're going to fast sketch through it, so you can still do this at home. You can follow me at home, and you can see me how I blend all the colors together to create the drawing, okay? So what I'm going to do now is just continue to bring out the depth in the range of color on the face, and this is the same process I'm going to use for the hair and the rest of the body too, okay? Try to use as much variation of a color as you can. What I mean by that is apply it and then reapply it, apply it, then reapply it, and you'll see how it'll start to come together as a whole as you move forward. And at the end of this, we're going to use our graphite pencil to sketch over it and bring out all the lines. So we can't use ink. You can't ink over oil pastels. The ink will not absorb, just like pouring oil in water, really. The liquid of the ink will not work well on your oil pastels, okay? So don't try to ink over your drawing. You'll mess it up. All right. We're going to continue this process now in a speed drawing, trying to pull out all the highlights we can. And remember, as I'm moving forward with this, if you're following at home, what I'm doing is I'm adding color, and I'll go back and I'll do the same thing again. I'll add that color on top of that color again, building up the surface of the drawing over and over and over until I get the desired effect I want, okay? Okay, so we have now a completed drawing. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you followed along with me there at home. If you don't have oil pastels, get some. You can check the show out again. Follow along with me. Be sure and send in whatever you created. Now this medium is a little messy. A lot of flakes fell around, but that's okay. That's part of art. Well, listen, we really want to thank you for tuning in today. We want to thank Pike TV for making this episode available for you. Thank theholler.org for all of their assistance and help in creating the show. And just remember that no matter what you create, take time in what you do to have fun. It's not about producing something that's amazing or wonderful or Disney quality. Have fun with it. Send in your examples too. Be sure to. But create and have fun. That's the biggest point. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you had fun. And just remember, keep drawing.